Hey now.
Hey!
Welcome to Summon Greater Podcast. Why are you looking at me like that?
No, I just complete brain fart. I was just like, yes, that's us.
You're the most excited to be doing this.
It's like, welcome to Summer Greater Podcast. Beep.
You were flatlining, dude. That was wild.
I'm okay. It's been a long day at work. I'm happy to be here talking about something that actually brings me joy.
You had a long day and I'm about to have one.
Yeah, that's true.
I usually work evenings. I'm filling in for a position at 4:30 in the morning tomorrow. And then we're going to a play tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. That's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Woo!
I'll be at it.
It'll be fun.
And then we play D&D the day after.
That's true. We've got a pretty stacked weekend.
We got a
honestly.
stacked weekend. I'm excited.
Yeah. Really, really excited for the play tomorrow night because one of our best friends, Erin, is in the play.
Oh, yeah.
She plays D&D with us. We've mentioned her before. She is an aspiring thespian.
She is a thespian. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something like that. No, she does this like every year. She's in like 2 or 3 shows a year. Usually she's phenomenal.
Yeah, she's going to knock it out of the park.
Hell yeah.
Obviously, so is Caitlin, our friend who's
Yeah,
the music
I forgot
director.
she's the director for that one. Yeah. She's also in one of our D&D campaigns. Yeah, we became friends with them a lot more recently, but no, Caitlin's great. She's going to do awesome.
Yeah.
And hopefully she's whipped them all into shape.
I can only hope for her sake.
But anyway, back to the D&Ds, which is why we're here.
Yeah.
So we have, y'all know by now, we have been doing our characters stuff that we whip out every now and then, and sometimes we do a full episode dedicated to characters, which we're not doing today, but had another realization of a character that is pretty popular and we haven't done yet. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about it, especially because this character doesn't quite fit into D&D without using some homebrew.
Yep.
So this will be a little bit of an interpretive one, and I know there are going to be people who have really cool ideas of how to make it work within D&D, but we are choosing to use homebrew because we think it would be more fun.
Yeah.
And we like creating stuff.
And also, this is a difficult one.
It is.
To be so honest.
Yeah. This is the one and only Eren Yeager.
This is Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. This is timely. Do you know why?
Why?
You don't know why? Because you don't watch the show, and
Are
that's
we being
fine.
attacked by Titans?
For the last time. The finale came out less than a week ago.
Whoa, like the whole series?
It's done.
Holy crap, dude. Oh, man. It's been forever since I've watched that show.
Yeah. It's 10 years old. It started in 2013.
Unless we want to go really hypothetical, it's hard to categorize anyone in that show as anything other than human.
Yes.
I would say for Eren, I would go variant human, and I would give him the tough feet right off the bat.
It's hard to say. Like, everyone's humanity is shown very, very well. The show makes a point of telling you that humans are fragile and weak as shit.
Yeah.
And that does not stop with any of the main characters, although it's kind of debatable from how they treat Levi. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I just went with the tough feet because I'm like, he turns into the freaking Titan and he goes through a ton and obviously has not died, which is impressive. So I was like, I don't know. I feel like that's just, I don't know. I was like, what do you give an anime character that's human? I don't know, tough. Here you go. Have some extra hit points, man. But it was a really big toss-up. We were talking about this before the podcast started because I wanted to throw this idea and give you my reasons as to why I was kind of back and forth on this. It was kind of a toss-up between Path of the Giant Barbarian and the one that I wound up going with, which was Blood Hunter, Order of the Mutant.
Yeah.
And now a lot of you are probably like, oh, well, that's cool, but how do Titan? And that's where the homebrew comes in. Because the cool thing about Order of the Mutant with Blood Hunter is you get these mutagens, these like potions, injections, whatever you want to call them,
Sure do.
where you can modify yourself. And I thought it would be really, really cool if like your signature mutagen was this one that let you turn into the Titan form. Because like you said, Aaron gets his Titan form decently early on in the show and then continues to use that all the way through. So I was thinking if you got this like signature mutagen that grants the Titan form at like level 8, 9, 10 kind of a thing, somewhere a little before halfway, and then it kind of improves as you level up, gaining a little bit more hit points, a little bit more like attack bonuses and stuff. Basically, the way I was looking at it, it was kind of like a summoned entities stat block, where a lot of them will say hit points are equal to this plus a number of d6 or something equal to your proficiency modifier, or proficiency bonus, and then their attack stat is what they roll to attack is like plus your proficiency bonus and things like that. So I thought that would be a great way to handle it. But maybe you could, if you wanted to make it really impactful, you could make it like double your proficiency bonus for the attack and damage and stuff. Obviously, you would need to grow to huge size to be a Titan. I also thought that gaining the effects of rage would make sense.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like the whole point of how Aaron gets his Titan form and how he uses it is he Angie boy for like in the beginning. But I just thought it made sense. Resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, I think, is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think that while you're in the Titan form, you should be limited. You can only use unarmed attacks or improvised weapons. Haven't watched the show in like 4 or 5 years, so I don't know exactly where we're at and how far they've come. But
it gets crazier and like different Titans with different abilities happen.
Yeah, I know about some of the different abilities, but specifically looking at Aaron, I don't think he ever uses weapons or anything.
This is interesting enough to bring up. I think he does learn a technique that all Titans have some variation of, which is hardening.
Oh, yeah.
And in his case, he uses it to harden like a limb or his knuckles or, you know, the nape of his neck for defense. So I would say he uses that early enough and often enough to consider that as part of the...
Yeah, that would be something I think that would kind of honestly handle itself with other mutagens.
Oh, like what?
So there are actually some really cool mutagens that almost do the shield spell kind of a thing. They also almost do the rage resistance kind of thing with a little bit of a twist. So the ones specifically that I'm looking at are impermeable, shielded, and unbreakable. So they give you resistance to 2 of the 3 natural damage types, but then vulnerability to the 3rd. Which I think is really interesting. I don't think it directly applies to the hardening aspect right now, but I'm also just using this opportunity to talk about Blood Hunter.
Yeah, totally.
It's Order of the Mutant is, in my opinion, by far the coolest Blood Hunter subclass. So yeah, impermeable gives you resistance to piercing damage, and vulnerability to slashing damage. So that only is 1 and 1. Okay, yeah. So they only give you 1 and 1, not both. Shielded, resistance to slashing damage, vulnerability to bludgeoning. I can speak. Unbreakable, you have resistance to bludgeoning damage and vulnerability to piercing damage. So it's kind of a damage trade-off.
Yeah.
And really useful, you know, if you're going into battle with like a bunch of people that have hammers, you can go, okay, I can use unbreakable,
Yeah.
resistance to bludgeoning damage. They're not doing any piercing damage to me, so yeah, not worth doing that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other mutagens that I think it'd be really fun to talk with your DM about maybe being able to like combine these mutagens to create the Titan form.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these are super fun. Reconstruction. For 1 hour at the start of each of your turns, when you have at least 1 hit point, but fewer than half your hit points, you regain hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. However, your speed is reduced by 10 feet during this time.
Oh, gee.
So it's literally just like regeneration. Rapidity. Your speed increases by 10 feet. However, you have disadvantage on intelligence checks. When you hit 15th level, the speed increase goes up by another 5 feet. A lot of this stuff I could see baking into your own custom Titan form, which I think would be super, super cool.
Yeah.
If you were to talk to your DM about like saying, hey, if I can pick 3 mutagens, one of them guarantees that it, or one of them has to be the one that like grows you to the huge size, and I don't know, has like a limit of like when it ends you gain like a level of exhaustion, and as you level up you can use it more times in a row before it has to like recharge. But yeah, super, super cool. There are tons of these mutagens. One of them is Ether. Prerequisite is 11th level, which makes sense. You gain a flying speed of 20 feet for an hour. You have disadvantage on strength and dexterity checks during this time. Alluring, this one makes me a little like, yeah. Your skin and voice become malleable. I just don't like the way that they say that.
Yeah, that's
malleable, allowing you to enhance your appearance and presence. You have advantage on charisma checks and disadvantage on initiative rolls. Which I'm like, okay, I can see where you were going with this, but the fact that you basically just said, squish your face around until you look prettier. Like, I'm like, no. I feel like that would be disadvantage on charisma.
Yeah.
But then there's like, celerity is another one. Your dexterity score increases by 3, as does your maximum for that score.
Yeah.
However, you have disadvantage on wisdom saving throws. Your dex score and maximum increase by 4 if you consume this mutagen at 11th level, and then by 5 if you consume it at 18th level.
I love the getting dumber but faster idea.
That one, I was like, this screams Titan to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why, but just like, okay, turn off brain, turn on feet.
It screams, I don't know, it's giving Ultra Instinct. Actually, it's giving Gojo.
Oh my god.
The best hiding spot is right in front of you where you can't hit me.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, a lot of different mutagens that are very much this, like just gives you a really cool buff and could possibly be a really detrimental negative side effect. But I think that would be a super fun thing to, talk to your DM and make your own Titan form. Because I think you could find something in there that would equate to Aaron or equate to any of the other Titans that are in there. And
Yes.
Blood Hunter is a class that I am definitely guilty of not giving it enough love. And I think that I need to change that. I need to play a Blood Hunter at some point and just kind of get into it.
One of us is going to have to bite the bullet, I think.
Yeah. We need to have someone other than my wife do it because she loves Blood Hunter.
I mean, she should. What's the last Blood Hunter she played?
Howl.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't care. Let her do it again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if she wants to.
Man.
But yeah.
Can't wait to talk about my character. That's out of nowhere. It's not a Blood Hunter. But,
No. I didn't assume that. Yeah, we have a one shot. That's we were saying we're playing D&D on Saturday. We have a one shot that our friend Bailey has made because we're all very busy right now and trying to line up a time when everyone in one of the campaigns is available is really hard. So we're kind of grabbing all of the people who are available on Saturday that are generally from different campaigns, or we're having to leave a couple people out.
Yeah.
We're just gonna do a one shot with them because it's been a while since
Yeah.
we played D&D, and we are going through withdrawals.
Yeah, a little bit. Man, I'm in the what am I trying to say? I don't know what to call this. I mean, I'm in the one shot situation where you make a character and it's like, this is one of the coolest builds I've ever made.
Yeah, man.
It is for a one shot. And I was like, do I want to save it?
Yeah.
No, I want to play it right now.
I see what you're saying. No, play it right now and then bring it back as an NPC somewhere.
Right, yeah.
Like, that's what Bailey was saying too. She was like, yeah, I have to make a bunch of NPCs because I just don't get to play my characters. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guilty of doing that shit. I have how many characters on my D&D Beyond account? Like fucking 350.
Yeah. The promising thing about this is that it's in a pre-existing world that Bailey has made and like plays a larger campaign in.
Yeah.
Granted, different time period, but if I get a chance to play this character again down the line, or like a descendant of them,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool.
That would be really fun.
I'd like that.
Yeah. I mean, hey, talk to Bailey about it because I'm sure she could figure out a way to make that happen.
I will be, and I talked to her about this character, and I know she loves it too. So
Good. Yeah. But speaking of classes and just not getting enough love and kind of having preferences for certain classes, we figured we haven't done this yet, but we got to do a tier list.
it's that time.
It is.
We become more podcast and more white by the day.
All we're missing are Trulies.
I got a pack in my fridge. We could do it over there.
I was going to say we left all of ours at Bailey and Aaron's.
And then they sent them with me. I have them.
Incredible. Just passing the white boy alcohol around.
Do you think that's what it is?
It's like the it's like the never-ending $20 Venmo.
Yeah.
It's like whose house are we staying at? Who's getting food? Okay, I'll Venmo you $20. All right.
I imagine it as just like, I don't know, like an alternative to White Claw, and like occupying the same space as White Claw.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It's like we got too good for White Claws.
Yeah.
And so we went to something that's White Claw with a different name.
Yeah. That's a real soft boy seltzer right there.
But anyway, yeah, D&D classes. So we're not going to do like a super in-depth, like, here's why this class is better than that class. No, this is pure spur of the moment vibe check ranking system.
Mm-hmm.
What vibes do the classes give
This
off?
is based on anything and nothing.
Exactly. This is purely like, I might say this class is S tier, and Sam might say this class is D tier, and fucking okay.
Our likely our experiences will flavor this.
Yeah, but we're gonna try to kind of like middle ground and create a comprehensive like combination of our vibes. Do you have it pulled up?
I do. Yep.
Cool.
I'm looking.
So, all of these are neatly arranged alphabetically right now. So let's start from the top. Artificer. What comes to mind when someone says artificer?
Making shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were like a DM and someone was prepping a character for your campaign, they're like, hey, I want to play an artificer. Good reaction, bad reaction.
I think I'd be kind of
neutral?
excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Artificer tends to be a wild card in like I've never seen two Artificers played the same.
That's fair.
You know?
That's very fair.
I think of this class as a very very unique thing to watch and play. But I don't know if it like stands out to me so much as like really what am I trying to say? I don't know. It doesn't give me like pack leader or anything.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those like I need to be part of the group and not leading it.
Yeah. I think of Artificer as a sort of support, which I really enjoy playing.
Yeah.
I would say A, personally.
Yeah. I was going to put it around B tier for me. But I could definitely concede A tier for that.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I mean it's anywhere in there in like A and B. I'll put it in A for right now cuz for me when I hear someone say, "Oh, I'm playing an Artificer," immediately there's no like fear of it being a bad character or like fear that they might take it in a really weird direction.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fail-safe class, and I don't mean that as like it's boring. I mean that in like you can't really go wrong with Artificer.
Yeah.
But along that same line of thinking, I haven't seen very many Artificers that have like super popped off and really impressed me. Like you said, they're kind of a support class, which is good, very, very good as a support class and really helpful. And I'm sure that there are ways to become an absolute god of an Artificer. But it's just, I don't have that much experience with it. And when someone says Artificer, I'm kind of assuming, okay, someone else is going to have to be our like DPS character.
Yeah.
But other than that, for variety and like not pigeonholing itself into a very specific thing, Artificer is definitely A tier. You can take it, like you said, in so many different directions.
Yeah.
Barbarian.
Barbara Ryan. What's she up to lately?
I don't know, man. I love Barbarian. Vibes alone, S tier for me.
Okay.
I think Barbarians are like, this is going to sound really fucking stupid. Barbarians are like Beyblades.
What the hell do you mean?
You just wind them up and point and you go, "Get him, boy."
Okay.
It's really, really fun.
Yeah.
Most of the barbarians that we have seen in like popular media centered around D&D have been extremely lovable, kind of dumb, a little naive, a little like shwoo, like they don't catch cues or anything, but they are the most loyal, the most lovable. They're like the golden retrievers of D&D classes for me. Like they're just so Rottweiler of D&D classes.
Yeah. What the hell?
I mean, you know what I'm talking about with the Rottweiler puppy eyes.
Yeah, I totally do.
Oh, yeah.
I totally do. Yeah. Oh my God, I love Roddy so much. So cute.
Yeah.
I feel an interesting type of way about barbarians. I feel like they are underutilized in popular media and a little bit homogenous in their representation. But my experience with them as party members in the campaigns that I'm in, is a little different. I'm usually very excited to see that the players I'm playing with who pick Barbarian are really interested in trying to do something outside the stereotype and like really really make their barbarian something special. And that's been my experience with that quite a few times. My first instinct is it's a short barbarian and throw it just be middle of the road. But I think it actually has a lot more versatility than I give it credit for after reviewing the play. So I want to go S.
Yeah?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that we're not getting into details about like subclasses and things like that,
Yeah.
but there's a lot going on with all these classes.
I mean, when I do think about barbarian subclasses, I like, more and more variety and options as you go.
Yeah, I mean, Barbarian kind of suffers from the same thing in D&D that Fighter does. People kind of look at Barbarian and go, scream loud, run fast, hit hard.
Yeah.
Like, you look at Fighter and you go, sword, shield, hit, block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, there aren't very many subclasses that are popularized for these classes.
You really have to think about classes as the scope of their subclasses.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about this, because if we can actually just move straight to fighter from here.
Yeah, sure. We don't have to go by the alphabetical thing.
I mean, like anyone's inclination when you think about fighter is to think about the most generic possible like party leader. But that has never ever been the case.
I was gonna say I don't think I've ever actually experienced a fighter trying to be a party leader.
No. They're always like trying to do something really unique, I feel.
Yeah.
And
or they're like, I am the bodyguard, tell me what to do and I will do it, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Fighter subclasses are so diverse. I think this is the most diverse class in terms of its subclasses, if I'm being so honest right now.
As far as subclass diversity, yeah, absolutely. Which is fascinating when you think about how many people look at it and they just go, oh, champion fighter, okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I think that alone has to make it S for me.
I could see it. I was going to say A tier
Uh-huh.
for me personally, just because, like, I do the same thing when I hear someone be like, ooh, I'm going to play a fighter. Like, I have that split second of, like, conditioned response of, like, oh, okay, cool. But then I stop and I'm like, no, there's actually a lot going on here. And there are so many different directions you can take it. You can use so many different fighting styles.
Mm-hmm.
You can do the standard sword and shield. You can do two-handed weapons. You can do like dual wielding short swords. You can do archery as a fighter. Like, yeah, the versatility is amazing. So I would say I could definitely concede an S tier for this one.
Let's jump back in the alphabet though.
Yeah.
Back Bard.
To Bard.
Tough one for me. This is one where I have trouble thinking about it outside of its stereotypes. And for most, not all, bards that I have seen played, this remains the case.
It's a class that lends itself to the stereotype a lot easier than many others do.
I think so. Yeah. Also, I've just in the past played with so many like annoying bards.
Yeah, Bard is one of those classes that like annoying people fall back on Bard because they can get away with being annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's what my character would do. No.
I feel bad about this. We're playing with a really cool one in one of our campaigns right now.
Yeah. We have a really story-wise, Bailey's Bard is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So freaking cool.
Yeah.
Also, brief minute to shout out that whole campaign. Figuring out what class everyone was took a minute.
Mm-hmm.
like unironically took me a few sessions
Yeah.
before I was like, oh, you do that. Because everyone is so versatile.
Yeah.
And it was super, super cool because that is an experience I've never actually had in a campaign before. Most of the time I go into a campaign and I'm like, clink, clank, heavy armor. And there's my paladin. All right. And like, you kind of know, especially if you have D&D knowledge.
Yeah. Well, that party also is so interesting because like, there's very little in a way of like a party build happening, you know, like no dedicated healer really. Like several of us have some between us and we ride off that.
Yeah. There is no formation at all.
No, none whatsoever. And
actually,
we have to.
The only thing that we have for a formation is that my character stands in the front.
Honestly, like at this point, yeah. And like,
I'm playing the barbarian fighter.
Yeah.
So I am the tank, but that's about all we've got as far as like a dedicated build.
Yeah. That's as much as I miss your other character. Goddamn. That change has allowed us to, create some really neat synergies in battle in the last couple sessions.
Yeah, seeing the support shit that you guys pulled out of your asses was fucking phenomenal.
Yes. Yes. So fun.
Yeah. Either way, even if I had stuck with Auden, my original character, I very much built him to also be a tank because I knew that I was probably going to be with a lot of like magically inclined people. But yeah, so one way or the other, we would have still been able to fuck around with like the support stuff.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot better with Ito.
Yeah.
It seems way more like influential and fun, and
I
it
think
makes
so.
a huge impact on the battlefield.
He does.
Yeah. But anyway,
Bring it back to Bard though.
birds.
It's a C for me.
You know, I'm with you. Like, I didn't want to just be like, it's not a good class. It is a good class.
Yeah.
This is just purely vibes.
Yeah.
There are more times when I am afraid of someone playing a bard than there are times when I'm excited for someone playing a bard.
Yeah.
Solid C tier. This one that doesn't have a title on it is
that Bloodhunter? Hey,
yes,
now.
it is. So,
I don't have a very well formed opinion of this. I've not seen it used. I've seen it used once.
yeah.
As a matter of fact, it's the one that Sophia played. And that's it. And I haven't I haven't watched enough Critical Role to have a good frame of reference for this at all.
Yeah, I've watched a little bit more Critical Role than you have, but even
bit.
even I don't really get a vibe off of this class yet. That's not to say that Critical Role is not doing a good job. They're doing a phenomenal job of portraying Bloodhunter, and it's really, really cool. The only thing that I think kind of bums me out is the fact that we haven't seen, or I shouldn't say that. We don't have anything other than the Order of the Lycanthrope Bloodhunter to really look at, because for a very brief amount of time, there was a Bloodhunter in the second campaign of Critical Role, but they didn't stick around long enough to really get into what a Bloodhunter could be.
Okay. Or like their subclass or anything.
Well, I think they hit subclass, but they only got to like level 4 or 5 or something like that. Yeah. So it wasn't... We didn't get enough outside of werewolf.
Yeah.
And I love having a werewolf class, but I want to see an Order of the Mutagen Bloodhunter played all the way through to like level 20 and see what they can come up with.
Yeah.
That might be something that if we ever do like a level 21 shot, I might have to do that for myself and just like pull myself away from all my other stupid, insane level 20 builds and say, focus, you're gonna figure this out. So for me, I would put Blood Hunter in the C tier alongside Bard just because it doesn't have much of an identity for me yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
Because I know it's not bad. I've seen it used well. It also just feels like a class that doesn't hold up well alone.
Okay.
Like, there are some classes that can really, really handle themselves. If there is only one person in a combat, they can take care of themselves and they can do really well.
Sure.
And they can also handle a lot of other situations in addition to that.
Yeah.
I feel like Blood Hunter just isn't quite able to keep up with that because its abilities are very specific. It's almost more like a barbarian / fighter, like a martial class, without quite as much martial abilities.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Speaking of classes that can hold their own in pretty much anything,
Yeah.
Cleric.
I'm always excited to have a cleric in my party.
Honestly, I think Cleric deserves a tier of its own.
I wouldn't go that far.
Really?
But I mean, it's S. But
I mean, it's
it at the top of S.
It's obviously S. My reasoning for saying I think it should have its own tier is because you can have a full party made up of 5, 6, 7 clerics, each one with a different subclass, and you will have absolutely no need for a barbarian, no need for a fighter, no need for a wizard, sorcerer, anything.
Yeah.
Cleric is the most I can do what you can do better.
Yeah, it can do it all.
Yeah.
And every cleric I've ever played with and played myself has been a ton of fun.
Yeah. They legitimately, that class feels the most jack of all trades, master of every single fucking one of them.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. No, Cleric is absolute top tier for me.
Yeah.
We'll leave it in S class for now. I may change your mind later.
Druid.
Druids.
Wild Shape is so fun. I enjoy it, and nobody, like everyone I've played with who picks Druid has done their damnedest to be very, very creative with how they use it. And I have to respect that so much. For me, let's go in an A.
I was just going to say that too.
Because, in my opinion, despite how much versatility Wild Shape offers, I feel like, in my experience, the identity of Druid tends to be a little limited to Wild Shape.
Yeah, it can really depend on the person playing the Druid. And it also, sadly enough, really, really depends on the subclass.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
if
which
I'm
there
gonna,
aren't many of.
Yeah. We need more Druid subclasses,
Yeah.
man. So bad.
We have complained about this before.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we had the homebrew one, the Circle of Necromancy or whatever it was.
Yes. Oh my God, it's so cool.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that for the specific purpose that it serves, Circle of the Moon Druid is S tier.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at Druid as a whole, the fact that Circle of the Moon Druid kind of drags it up to S tier by the skin of its neck,
Yeah.
I think the rest of the class just lingers in A, which I say that as if it's a bad thing. It's not. It's a phenomenal class. It just doesn't have the versatility and depth of field that Cleric, Barbarian, and Fighter have. You're a little more shoehorned.
Yeah. Totally agree.
That was an easy one.
Monk.
Monk.
Wow, that's tough. I have a very, very high opinion of Monk.
I do too. I was just gonna say that. Like when someone mentions I'm playing a monk, I'm immediately like,
Yes. Yes, you are.
show me. Yes. Also, monks are just like, I think objectively, monks are the most badass class.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, an argument could be made for maybe rogue, but I think rogue is like, rogue relies too much on hiding, which is the point of the class, but I think monk is way more badass than rogue.
Yeah.
Rogue is really cool, but they're sneaky and edgy and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Monk is just like, hi, I'm here. I don't have any armor on. Also, don't need a single magic item.
Yeah.
I can beat the shit out of you in an anti-magic field. I can also run faster than your horse.
Yeah. Yeah. And like could teleport if I want
Yeah.
with no
Or,
magic.
I could grow arms made out of sunlight or
Yeah, what the hell's up with
dragon wings.
Yeah.
And I can breathe fire.
Yeah. Or like, Kamehameha wave, as we've discussed.
Yeah, literally. We are chalking it full, but I think I got to throw monk in S class just based on the vibes.
Do it,
just
yeah.
for the vibes.
Also, people in our comments hate that subclass.
Really?
The Sun Soul.
Why?
I don't know why. Just a lot of people are of the opinion that like, yeah, it's cool theming, but it's shit. Okay, man.
I mean, everyone is entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
And if you found a monk subclass that you think is better, go for it.
Yeah.
I think it's cool as hell. Yeah. But next on the list,
Paladin.
Paladin.
What do you think of Paladin?
I like them. That sounded really unenthusiastic. For me, I have absolutely nothing to back this up. Paladins are B class.
I feel exactly the same. The most mid class, in my opinion.
And it's not because they're not powerful. They are objectively one of the strongest classes.
Yes. Yes.
They're just very paladin.
Yes. And I've very frequently seen them role played as such and have role played one that way myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the most unique paladin that I have is I don't know, did you ever meet Samyaza, my Aasimar paladin in Lustere?
No, I did not.
So Samyaza is he's a little fucking chaos gremlin. He is an Oath of Anarchy paladin, which is a homebrew subclass that for a very long time I forgot was homebrew because it's so good. We covered it on the podcast. There's a link in one of the episode descriptions. Go back and find that if you want to look into Oath
I didn't know
of
you
Anarchy.
played it.
Not in like a campaign. He was a play-by-post character.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
But super, super cool. He actually is a thief for hire, essentially.
Okay.
Like he would break in to places and retrieve things for money.
Yeah.
So I think that was the most out of the box paladin I've ever played. But all the rest of them is very much like, I stand for love. I stand for justice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep that orphanage from burning down.
It's hard to break them away, in my experience, from just the identity of their oath.
Yeah.
And it's like, I would do well to remember that they can do more.
Yeah.
They
I
can
am not
be
my
more.
subclass, and my subclass is not me.
Yes.
Yeah. But
B is good though.
B is good for paladin. Rogueways.
Rogue. I'm going to be so honest. I have similar feelings about Rogue.
Yeah, I actually have worse feelings about Rogue.
Really?
I would say C bordering on D tier.
I'll let you do
for
that.
Rogue for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it at the bottom of C tier. Rogue is a really good class. It is often one of the most overpowered classes when enabled by the rest of the party.
Yeah.
but it is also a catch-all class for some really shitty people. Don't get me wrong, there are some really good ones that also play rogues, but like, you know what I mean.
Oh my god, you made it so personal.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
It's funny.
Yeah, no, it's just like when someone says it's what my character would do, rogue.
You're
playing
so
a rogue.
right about
You're
that.
playing a rogue.
Oh no, you're really right about that.
Yeah.
It's always the rogues that say that.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, I'm going to pickpocket a party member.
Uh-huh. Shut up.
Yeah, or like, oh, the entire room is blacked out. I have dark vision. No one else does. I'm going to kill a party member because I don't like them.
Yeah.
And they don't know. DM, they can't know.
It's-
Why are you letting them know that it was me? DM.
Oh, the table troublemakers, dude. Yeah. That's stupid.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, a correct assessment.
Yeah. Again, not to say there aren't good rogues out there.
Yeah.
We have Erin playing a rogue in one of our campaigns, and she does a phenomenal job and has given her rogue character some insane backstory and really, really cool personality traits and things.
I know she's put a lot into that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You just haven't seen
fucking
enough.
great character. You will. You will very, very soon.
I hope. I wanna.
Don't you worry about that. Yeah, Sam's joining us for an excursion into the Feywild in that campaign, so we're having a lot of fun. But yeah, rogues can be good, but they are one of the scariest to hear someone just offhandedly mention gonna play a rogue.
Have to agree.
Ranger.
I don't care.
I don't either.
I don't care. I was hoping I would like eventually formulate an opinion while I was sitting here thinking that was more than just like roguish or ranger is shit to begin with from a mechanics perspective, but like
It's like the problem with Ranger is, are you playing Aragorn or are you playing Steve Irwin?
oh shit.
I can't put Ranger above D tier.
Yeah.
I can't.
Also,
can't do it.
to be fair, I haven't seen anyone play Ranger in so long. Like, I think the last time I saw someone play Ranger was in my very first campaign, where my buddy Gavin played one called Raoul with a wolf familiar that he named Lucario.
No.
And like, you know, we were 17. It's fine. He's going to be upset I brought it up though. It was so funny, Gavin. Need you to know. A sorcerer, however.
Sorcerer.
This is different.
I'm going to go right out and say it. Sorcerer is A tier for me.
Yeah.
Those are some big feelings.
I do have big feelings. I was eyeing the bottom of S, but I will accept top of A.
I was going to say top of A tier makes sense for me.
Yeah.
Again, main reason why, Druid, go back there. Main reason why is because a decent amount of the sorcerer subclasses are extremely specific.
Yes.
And they kind of only allow you to do things one way.
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part, I agree. I do also think that Sorcerer has some of the coolest subclasses in terms of flavor.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
to that end, great deal of diversity there, and especially as far as casters go.
Yeah, I mean, meta magic is what really makes a sorcerer. The thing that I realized not too long ago, and I know I knew this, I just, for whatever reason, hadn't been paying much attention, and it kind of slipped my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Sorcerers get astronomically less spells than wizards.
Yeah.
It made me mad.
And like,
Not because it's necessarily a bad thing, but I was just like, what the fuck, man?
yeah. And like, I get it. They make up for it. But it is a bit of a feels bad.
Yeah. I love the subclasses. I think they're really cool. I just think that a lot of them are extremely pigeonholed. Like, you chose this subclass. Okay, here's what you can do. And it's like,
Yeah.
whereas with like Druid, yeah, your subclass may give you specialties in a certain area, but because of your other abilities and the versatility of those other abilities, it's a lot wider of a field. I know Sorcerer has spells, so they can take themselves in different directions with those spells, but then it's a feels bad because you chose your subclass for like one or two of the several abilities you get, and then you had to use your spells to make up the difference.
Yeah.
But again,
I like Sorcerer though.
really, really powerful class, really fun one to play.
Yeah.
When one of the subclasses lines up with what you want your character
Yes.
to do, then it hits.
Yes.
Then it hits so fucking hard. And that's why it's in A tier.
Totally agree. Warlock, B.
Yes. Yeah, Warlock is in B tier.
I can't explain why.
How you feel about Sorcerer is how I feel about Warlock. I'm not going to argue that it needs to be in A tier because Warlock is a lot more limited. However, I love the subclass features from Warlocks. Also, there is an added layer in Warlocks. I think it appeals to me because I am such an optimization guy. Choosing your pact is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
It essentially feels like you get a subclass.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's something that is missing from every other class in the game. I would love to see something maybe possibly implemented for some of the other classes that resembles the specialization of the pact for the Warlock.
Yeah, I have to say, I think fighting styles for fighter get sort of close.
That is very true. That popped into my head right as you were about to say it. Yeah, fighting styles for fighter kind of has that. But yeah, dude, Eldritch Invocations and the pact specific Eldritch Invocations make me so happy.
Very fun, very cool.
It is. I think Warlock is the most flavorful class in all of D&D.
Big claims are being made. I respect it.
Yeah, I am not going to make anyone agree with me on this. That is just, I feel that way because of the wide variety of Eldritch Invocations, the specificity of the spells that you have to take, the different ways that you can use a Warlock based on your pact, and how it drastically changes your playstyle depending on which pact you chose.
Sure do.
And depending on how you paired your pact with your subclass. Again, Pact of the Blade, Hexblade Warlock, one of the most powerful melee builds in the game. So freaking cool. But then you can also play Pact of the Chain and do like a Great Old One patron or something, and you can do summons, and you can focus on summoning things and have little armies of shit. It has a lot of limitations on the spellcasting side, but it has so much versatility on flavor and the choices you can make and the different ways you can build a Warlock. If someone says they want to play a Warlock, I get really intrigued because I want to know what direction they're going to take it. I will never, ever hear someone mention playing a Warlock and not need to ask them, what's your backstory?
Yeah.
Because it informs so much of how you play.
Yeah. Yeah. I have little opinion because I haven't played with very many warlocks, I think.
That's very fair. Warlock was one of the first classes that I ever played. I played a rogue first. And then Warlock was the next one that I tried to build for myself. So I found a lot of love with Warlock early.
Yeah. Yeah. Wizard. So this holds a spot in my brain as just being kind of generic because for me it was baby's first caster. I often see people struggle to tear wizard away from the Gandalf archetype.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. You said Gandalf and I heard Ganondorf and I was like, how? How are you building a Ganondorf wizard?
Who's doing that?
No, you are absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Gandalf, yeah.
It's like, why is it always the mentor? Like, be something interesting.
Yeah,
Which?
it's either Gandorf or, yeah. Gandalf. It's either Gandalf or Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Too many elves and orcs and e's and i's.
Yeah. I was about to say, though, someone's got to do the apprentice wizard, do the wizard in training. We have that currently.
We do.
Right this second.
Also an Aaron character.
Aaron is breaking norms, dude.
Hell yeah. She is a trailblazer. We also actually have Sophia is playing a wizard right
Yes.
now. Her
I don't know enough about it yet.
No. Yeah, I was going to say you'll get there very soon.
Okay.
Don't worry. Her elf character, again in the campaign where we're going to the Feywild, my wife Sophia's elf character is a blade singer wizard, which is objectively one of the coolest subclasses in the whole game.
Yeah.
Freaking love blade singer. But anyway, vibes wise, I'm going to give his wizard an A tier.
Okay.
I know it's kind of like because baby's first cast or whatever. The reason why this bumped up from what would have been a B tier classification for me is because I actually started fucking paying attention to subclass abilities. For the longest time, for some reason in my really annoyed brain, I went wizard only gets spells. That's it. That's all they are is spells. And I looked at like the subclasses. And it was like School of Abjuration. And I was like, oh, cool. You know what School of Abjuration does for you? Your abjuration spells cost half as much to put on paper. And that was like the only subclass ability I looked at. And I went, this is stupid.
That's ass. Yeah. Yeah.
If I had continued reading down the rest of the page and paid more attention, there are some really freaking cool wizard subclass abilities.
I feel like some abjuration is one of those classes in this game where you can tell it was made for a much earlier version of D&D.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? Like where you were really role playing like the typical environments that you would find your classes in, you know?
That makes sense.
And the typical environment you would find a wizard in is at school.
Well, I mean, every one of the wizard schools has that as its first class ability. Subclass ability is that like spells of that class cost less. But then like School of Abjuration comes along later and they get the arcane ward, which is just like a fucking damage bubble. And they can soak up damage. And then later they can throw it at someone else to soak up damage coming at that person. I slept on wizard, man. I really, really did.
Hey, maybe I am too. Maybe that's what we're learning here.
Yeah. So
maybe every class we've ranked sort of low is just something we're sleeping on. Possibly. If it is, we're gonna hear about it in the comments.
Yes, we are. Come on, Rangers, where you at?
Step the fuck up.
Yeah, but so that is our tier list of D&D classes based on the vibes.
Yeah.
And a little bit of mechanics because we can never stop ourselves from actually talking about
Yes.
that shit.
Yes. Let us know how shit of a job we did and what you would do differently. Would you flip the whole thing on its head? That would be funny. Is Ranger your sole S-Class?
That would be really funny, and I would tell you objectively that cannot be. But who am I to tell you how to play the game?
You want to see what I've been fidgeting with this entire time?
Yeah?
It's a penguin eraser.
A penguin eraser? Okay,
Yeah, I think
kinda
Bailey
saw
gave me this. I can't remember.
I bet she did.
It's got an upside down face, and I don't understand it really.
It does.
Why does it have that?
I think that one was a reject. I remember her saying, now, I'm sorry he has an upside down face.
Oh, that's right. I love him. Anyway, you should send us your qualms with this tier list, but more importantly, you should send us your homebrew, and you should do so at summongreaterpod@gmail.com or at summongreater on Twitter.
Yeah.
We'll be waiting, and we'll be grading cheese.
Eat too much cheese.
Eat too much cheese. I got a heart full of cheese and a fridge full of love, my brother.
Amen. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah. Talk to us. This is all we do. And it gets lonely sometimes.
Oh my,
But
it's bleak as hell. What are you talking
it's
about?
okay. We have friends.
Okay,
We're on the internet.
stop. Join us next week when we talk about all of the Risk of Rain classes.
Yeah.
See you then. Goodbye.
Bye.